Hello, everybody. I'm joined by Michael Feeley here today. Hello, Michael. How are you?
Hello, good evening. Very well, thank you. Nice to be here
So,
again.
yeah, it's good to see you. We had an amazing webinar. Was it last week? Week before? It was. I've lost track of time. I've been running around all day
A
like a
couple
lunatic.
of weeks
But
ago. A couple of weeks ago.
a couple of weeks. Yeah, mind blowing feedback on that, and we're here to talk about webinar number 2. Do you want to take it away?
Yes, and the webinar one, for those who were there, will realise it was just a generic introduction into some of the subjects that I'll be highlighting and extracting from that webinar. Webinar 2, which I believe will be next Friday, is going to talk about Egypt. And Egypt has millions of tourists every year, and all of them want to know, and all of them have never been told the truth as to what Egypt is. So I'm going to take the opportunity and the platform to actually go and delve into Egypt with such things as how it relates to Christianity, how it really is the original Bible, how Christ is related to the Great Pyramid, how Mary Magdalene is related to the Great Pyramid. All of these things that really dispel the myth of Christ, because it really is a Gnostic personification of illumination. So these are the kind of things I'll discuss. Some of the chemical formulas that are in the lime casing of the Great Pyramid, and what the chemical formulas mean, how it relates to electricity and voltage. I'll be taking people through various stages of the initiation, the Egyptian way. I'll be talking about how really Graham Hancock and Robert Duval were not quite correct in their analysis of the Orion alignment to the pyramids, and I'll go a little bit more into detail. I'll also discuss how, when you take all of the pyramids of Egypt, they actually form a star map of the constellation of Taurus, and I'll go into detail as to why that is, which again follows on from the dispute of the Orion connection with Graham Hancock. And I'll be talking about such things as how the Great Pyramid is really the true tomb of Christ and the tomb of Mary Magdalene. I'll be going into how the Hebrew language is really the language of the Egyptian priesthoods. And I'll be talking lots and lots of things about the Sphinx. I'll be highlighting some interesting things about the honeybee as well, and how that is very significant in relation to Egypt, how that's very significant in relation to the Merovingians, how that is extremely significant in the Christ and Mother Mary story, and how that also is significant in relation to the Knights Templars, because we are told that the Knights Templars were the poor Knights of Christ, but they weren't. And they were the knights that had the true secret of what Christ is, but they're not the poor Knights of Christ. And again, I'll go into what I mean by that. So it's really a carte blanche about a cryptic message that I had before I went to Egypt last time, in relation to what my mission was and why I was really going. I'll talk about a visit one day when a pharaoh just came into my time, and on the same day when I was at home, seeing a scarab beetle, an Egyptian scarab beetle manifesting it on the wall. So it's going to be these kind of things when I go deeply into Egypt, what Egypt means, what it is, and what it means for the rest of us. So that really will form the hour-long webinar. I shall do a presentation, and then, as always, we'll open it up to the floor, and we'll do a Q&A, because I'm sure there'll be some questions arise from the content.
Well, if it's anything like the last one, it'll be gobsmacking. Yeah, you're bringing up some. You're probably triggering some people with some of that stuff as well, which is also interesting.
It does. I mean, certainly, at different levels, people are being affected in different ways, and depending upon where they are or what they need, or what needs filling within them, will be how they receive it. But for every aspect of every level of their being, somebody will get something from it at some level, because it really is sacred information. It's coming on strong. It's coming back extremely strong, and now is the time that it wishes to return.
Could
So
you just sorry to interrupt you? Could you just explain to people who are watching this who have missed you before where this information is coming from, how it's coming in?
Yes, again, there's a number of ways. Firstly, there's inner recognition, inner knowing, because I've been there before, I've seen it before. Even in 2024, I am engaged in time slips when I actually go back to the ancient pyramids and the ancient temples. There's information, a lot of information also downloaded to me from 3 of the greatest minds to have ever lived. And I mentioned it as Tesla, Isaac Newton, and Leonardo da Vinci. Now, in a previous time, Leonardo and I spent a lot of time inside the Great Pyramid. And there's things in there that people are yet to discover, like a Leonardo da Vinci painting on the wall of inside the Great Pyramid. So there's a lot of things that,
there's a Da Vinci painting inside the Great Pyramid.
Yeah, he painted it while we were in there. So where that is if you look at the Grand Gallery, above the Grand Gallery, there is what looks to be a cavity, but it isn't a cavity. So it's there. But there's Leonardo actually painted a painting on the walls inside the Great Pyramid. The same as Michelangelo gets a lot of credit for painting the city, but Leonardo da Vinci painted it with him. So there's a lot of information that will come out during these webinars that are not known by anybody, and that's because I was with him when he did it, and I have all of these memories coming back. So a lot of it is research, a lot of it is inner knowing, a lot of it is memory, and a lot of it is downloaded information.
Wow. Well, this channel is all about the quest for truth, and Michael is extraordinary in this respect. So I'm going to leave links to previous shows I've done with Michael. I'm also going to leave a link of what I think I'm going to do as well is leave a link to the first webinar. Well, if you missed it, if you go on that page and you make a donation, then you'll automatically be sent a link and the password to be able to go and watch the first webinar. And there'll be a link to webinar number 2, which is going to be on Friday, the 6th of December at 7 p.m. UK time, right?
Yeah.
Just checking with you. I say 7 p.m.
Yeah.
I'm very rarely on time these days, but I will be on time for that one. So yeah, if you go to that link and make a donation, I highly recommend these webinars. Then you'll automatically be sent a link to a Zoom meeting and just turn up at that time. If you can't make that time and you donate for the second webinar or the first one, after the webinar has been recorded, I will change the automated email to give you automatic access to the recording as well. So you got no excuse to miss it, is what I'm saying. Thank you, Michael. Thank you for doing a quick one today. I'll get this out as soon as I can, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. I've got a full day event tomorrow. I've got to get ready for, so I will see you soon.
You take care. Thank you for your time, and I'll speak to you
See you
soon.
next week. Thanks, Michael. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye bye.